Hello and welcome everybody. Today we are going on a trip through the bizarre world of Teletubby Land. Do you remember these picturesque hills dotted with colorful flowers? What about the pink sparkles of the windmill as it spins? What about her? This is the home of the Teletubbies, four sweet technological babies with aerials on their heads and televisions built into their tummies. They first debuted in 1997 and took the world by storm. Today, the show has been seen by over 1 billion children in 120 territories. If you've ever been anywhere in your life, I'm sure you've seen these guys. If you're like me, you grew up watching them on TV. Maybe you even got yourself a cup of tubby custard at Burger King with your favorite Teletubbies plush. Perhaps you even played the Teletubbies video games or checked out the websites. Whether you have strong memories associated with them or not, the Teletubbies were truly a cultural phenomenon. There is tons of content to watch too. The original series spanned 365 episodes with over 20 video releases. There's even reboots and spin-offs if you prefer a more overstimulating version. Personally, I watched this show a lot when I was too young to even have memories yet. I'm sure the Teletubbies formed my brain like a little ball of clay. This made me really curious as to what I would think of the show as an adult. Revisiting it, it felt like an art piece. The episodes are so strange, but honestly, I think this show is so beautiful. I found myself asking a lot of questions while I was watching. The pace of the show is slow and simple, and there are genuinely a lot of funny moments. Overall, I think this show is just a treat to look at. The related media I found was super enjoyable as well. I really had fun checking out the websites and playing the Teletubby games. So come with me and I'll take you through the weird and beautiful world of the Teletubbies. Alright, so let's start with the basics. The Teletubbies were created by Ann Wood and Andrew Davenport. Ann Wood is a teacher turned television producer who founded Ragdoll Productions. Ragdoll is a British television production company responsible for shows like Brum and Rosie and Jim. Wood hired Andrew Davenport as a puppeteer and co-writer on the show Tots TV. Davenport had been working on a set of astronaut characters inspired by footage of moon landings. He noticed that an astronaut in their suit looked a lot like a toddler in terms of proportion. They had big heads and relatively short limbs. Davenport also found it really funny that at the height of human achievement, the astronauts' first reaction is to jump and play when they land on the moon. The original character concept for Davenport's astronaut characters would be two little guys. They would be easily surprised, fall over a lot, and hug each other when they got scared. Davenport's idea would begin to evolve when the BBC wanted to commission a new show aimed at a younger television audience, like ages 1 to 4 younger than the preschool shows they were airing at the time. So the concept was to create a show that was more focused on children's development rather than education. Kids TV at the time tended to focus on a teacher or presenter coming out to teach a group of children something. However, Davenport wanted to try to portray the preschool experience of experimenting, making connections, and adapting to new experiences. The children would make meaning of the show on their own rather than the show directly telling them what they were going to learn. The original 2 spacemen characters that Davenport came up with evolved to 5 at first and then back to 4. They went from spaceman to teddy bear looking sort of alien. Ann Wood suggested putting these characters in a magical technological world. Ann Wood knew that children were growing up in a world where technology was rapidly evolving. Computers, television, and video games were becoming parts of everyday life for children. Wood wanted to showcase a technological world in her show, but one that felt safe and secure for children to explore. You'll see evidence of this in the Teletubbies dome and, of course, the televisions that would end up on their stomachs. The BBC stipulated that this new show had to have actual young children appear on the show, so Wood and Davenport had to figure out how to connect the Teletubbies' whimsical, magical world with with the real world. Wood didn't like the idea of all the Teletubbies just gathering around a TV to watch something, so Davenport suggested they put the televisions right on their tummies. Since they had built-in televisions, naturally they needed an antenna to pick up the signal. It looks like at one time the Teletubbies were meant to be called the Teleteddies. I think that is really cute. I love this guy's satellite dish. This design is really cute and it ends up looking a lot like what the Teletubbies ended up looking like. Here is what we got at the end. Let me introduce you to Tinky Winky, Dipsy, Lala, and Po. Now that there was a show concept, the show had to be created. Ragdoll decided that the Teletubbies would be full-bodied characters of all different sizes. To create 4 different sized Teletubbies, there would need to be some very big suits. The smallest suit would be Po's at 6'5", while the largest, Tinky Winky's, stood at over 8 feet tall. Some sources say 10, some say 8, some say 9. Either way, it's enormous. These costumes must have been extremely heavy and so hot. It looks so nice in Teletubby Land too, so it must have been miserable in there. Nikki Smedley, Lala's actress, says that it's like tying a half a dozen bags of coal on your head, wrapping yourself in hundreds of blankets, being blindfolded, going into a sauna, and jumping up and down for 11 hours a day and look really happy about it. Smedley would be joined by Dave Thompson as Tinky Winky, John Simmet as Dipsy, and Poi Fan Lee as Po as the first set of Teletubbies actors. Due to the sheer size of the costumes, the set needed to be designed in a way to make the Teletubbies look smaller. Basically, the set and anything on it would need to be scaled up tremendously. This would require a massive set building effort. The set would be built on farmland in Wimpstone, Warwickshire. An enormous crater had to be dug for the Tubbytronic Superdome, and various little hills would have to be built as well. According to this really interesting article, Teletubby Land is underlain by clays and thin limestones of the early Jurassic Age, originally deposited as layers of mud in the Jurassic Sea roughly 200 million years ago. This kind of stuff is so fun. I love when I find little things like that. Anyway, although Ann Wood had previously used this location for shooting Tots TV, the local people were quite upset about the area being used for filming this time. There were rumors it would be a spaceship movie, and the people were worried that it would cause a ruckus. They didn't want the place swarmed with reporters either. Wood passionately pled with the locals to film there, and she told them it would just be a kids show and there'd be nothing to worry about. They believed her, but they shouldn't have. The Teletubbies got way bigger than expected, and reporters and visitors, of course, swarmed the area. A lot of them wanted pictures of the Teletubbies with no heads on. People never stopped trespassing into this area either, so the owners of the land eventually filled it in with a small pond in 2013. Since the locals gave the okay to keep building the Teletubbies set, the farmland was completely transformed. It's beautifully empty, with green rolling hills, distant trees, and the fake ever-blossoming flowers. A windmill stretches up to the sky over the Teletubbies house, which is called the Tubbytronic Superdome. The dome is completely green grass on the outside, with a kid's idea of the inside of a spaceship on the inside. The windows have this beautiful flower shape, and there are doors on both sides of the building. After adding in some showerhead-looking voice trumpets and the biggest rabbits in the world, it was time to make Teletubbies. Let me introduce you a little bit more to the Teletubbies. This is Tinky Winky. As previously mentioned, he is first played by Dave Thompson, but he's replaced by Simon Shelton after 72 episodes. Tinky Winky is the purplest and tallest Teletubby. His aerial is an upside-down triangle. Tinky Winky is very gentle, and he loves to march, dance, and fall over. His favorite item is his red handbag. This bag is magical. Tinky Winky can fit anything in it that he wants, regardless of size. He can even fit Poe's scooter in that thing. The bag does get heavier though. Jerry Falwell did not like Tinky Winky's purse because it makes him gay, I guess. Joke's on him though, because a lot of gay folks love Tinky Winky to this day, and Tinky Winky is featured in a Teletubbies Pride collection. Also, look at this screenshot from an old Teletubbies website in 2007. Ouch. There's plenty of information on the Jerry Falwell Tinky Winky thing. I'd rather not focus on the controversy controversy here. Anyway, Tinky Winky's theme song goes like this.
Go winkle, Tinky Winky.
Here is Dipsy, my favorite Teletubby. He's played by John Simmet for the entirety of the classic series. He has a beautiful green color with a straight line for an aerial. Dipsy is an incredible dancer and goes unnecessarily hard in a lot of episodes. Seeing Dipsy dance is one of my favorite things about revisiting this series. I am a Dipsy girly, what can I say? Dipsy's favorite item is his cow print hat. I think it is a very fashionable and very large hat. It's really funny to watch him put it on also. Sometimes the hat gets decorated. Dipsy also has a special song he sings for his hat. Dipsy's other special song goes like this. This song was Simmet's take on a classic reggae rhythm. The next Teletubby is Lala. She is played by Nikki Smedley for the whole series. She is yellow with a funky, squiggly aerial. Her personality is very bubbly and girly. She loves to giggle. Her favorite object is a bouncy orange ball. I love watching her hit this thing. The sound and the visual, it's just wonderful. I love it. Lala's song goes like this. Lala has a catchphrase that she says in a few episodes as well.
Bibbly cheese!
Bibbly cheese was Smedley's take on a kid-friendly curse word that Lala could use when she gets frustrated. Also, Smedley used to be a ballet dancer, so you see that kind of inspiration in the playing of Lala. Finally, Po, the smallest Teletubby. She's played by Poi Fan Lee for the entire classic series. Po is the tomboy of the group and is the most soft-spoken. Her aerial is a nice little bubble wand. Po loves her scooter and rides it around in quite a lot of episodes. She loves to play games and she gets up to a lot of mischief. I'm convinced that Po has special magical powers as well. I'm gonna tell you about those in a little bit. Her little song goes like this. These are 4 best friends. They live together, eat together, dance together, and love each other very much. They spend most of their time playing and walking around. They are happy creatures who react positively to pretty much anything that happens. Also, when they sit down, their butts honk. The favorite items of each of the Teletubbies show up frequently on the show. They each serve a special purpose according to the 2007 capture of the Ragdoll website. Tinky Winky's bag allows play with volume, Dipsy's hat is for role-playing, Lala's ball reflects young children's fascination with spheres, and Po's scooter explores travel and direction. The Teletubbies do speak words, but it's not super distinguishable. At first, I was wondering if the Teletubbies were sort of like Pokemon because I just kept hearing them sing their special songs over and over. They do speak though, they just speak like children. They'll repeat the narrator sometimes, but in a baby talk sort of language. The way that Teletubbies speak did get a lot of pushback from parents, but the producers believe that the way Teletubbies babble can teach children how to use language before they use real words. The way they talk is a bit grating to me as an adult, so I wonder if that's really the reason for the complaint. The Teletubbies are not the only important characters. This is Nunu. He is the Teletubbies' sentient vacuum cleaner. He mostly stays in the house and tidies up. He gets into mischief a lot by sucking up the Teletubbies' favorite things and their tubby toast before they can eat it. He seems to be able to suck things up regardless of size and quantity. He doesn't speak, but he makes this gnarly sucking sound. Sometimes the Teletubbies chase him and occasionally give him a hug. The voice trumpets are also essential characters. These are little talking speakers that can rise from the ground seemingly anywhere in the world. They'll show up outside and inside the house. They make a farting sound when they rise up. They were designed to indicate to children when they should stop watching and start listening. I guess young children don't really listen and watch at the same time, so this was the reasoning for that. They also serve to tell nursery rhymes and make funny sounds at the Teletubbies, and they have the important role of opening and closing the show. The narrator is not technically a character, but is incredibly important. The narrator tells the viewer what the Teletubbies are up to, but in the present tense, before something even happens. Because of this, it appears that he controls reality. For instance, once he let the viewers know that Lala made up a song, but Lala reacts in a surprised manner and makes up a song on the spot. The narrator is the closest thing to a parent figure on this show. The flowers are technically characters because they talk sometimes. times. Usually they're background characters, but they do make a little bit of commentary occasionally. The rabbits are also seen in the show quite a lot. The Teletubbies don't directly interact with them all the time, but they are seen in every episode. Teletubby Land is populated with these giant Flemish rabbits, which are extremely large. These rabbits were chosen for their extraordinary size, which makes the Teletubbies in the set look a little bit smaller in comparison. Of course, I must mention the sun baby. This is just a sun with a baby's face on it. This sun baby's face does get changed for certain translations and dubs of the show. The baby sun is seen opening and closing the show with some cuts to her throughout the episodes. She's usually just smiling and giggling, but the shots of her are usually just a little bit too long and too silent. There are a few common objects in the Teletubbies house. In general, the objects in this house, the Teletubbies' favorite items in the landscape, are the only objects in this world. First, the control panel. This seemingly does nothing other than make sound. There are plenty of episodes where the Teletubbies are making adjustments to the house, but nothing happens but a sound plays. Sometimes, if the Teletubbies mess with it a lot, some music will play. Here's an example of Dipsy making adjustments to the house, resulting in a sick beat and a crazy dance. This is from episode 6, Lambs. The control panel in the Superdome changes after a few dozen episodes. In episode 70, this section of the control panel changes to these sponge cases. These are tubby sponges, and they are seemingly the only useful part of the control panel. Next to the control panel is a slide. The Teletubbies can use this to enter the house from a hole in the roof. They do this frequently. The Teletubbies will often tumble off the slide when they get to the end. Somehow, the Teletubbies can also go up the slide with no effort. They just slide back up. Sick. In the dome, there's beds for all the Teletubbies. These are sized based on the tubby, but all of them are too small in my opinion. Their legs hang off, and these aluminum foil square blankets do nothing for coverage. I actually didn't even realize the beds were all different sizes until a scene where Poe sleeps in Tinky Winky's bed, forcing Tinky Winky to try to sleep in hers. There's a tubby table and tubby seats that the Teletubbies use for eating their meals. They subsist on two foods, tubby custard and tubby toast. These are the only foods I've ever seen the Teletubbies eat, but the website begs to differ. Tubby custard is a pink goo that changes in viscosity depending on how it's being shown. It comes from this machine. The machine delivers both a bowl and spits out custard. If the tubby custard is in a bowl, it's probably a thin pink liquid. The bowls that the Teletubbies use are basically a big straw that they can use to drink right out of the bowl. The Teletubbies will generally wear bibs when making or drinking the custard. If the custard is spilled, it's sometimes shown as a thick, goopy, silly putty type slime. Other times, it's just shown as a paper cutout. If the producers were feeling really crazy that day, the Teletubbies might be shown with the actual custard on them, like in this scene from episode 5 where Poe stomples all over the custard. Look at those feet! There's a fair amount of storylines where someone spills custard, messes up making the custard, or otherwise has a custard mishap. It's been said on the show that tubby custard makes the Teletubbies very strong and is very good for them. So I'm really curious what this stuff is made out of. Perhaps mechanically separated chicken. Tubby toast is a bread-like substance in a circular shape with a smiley face on it. It's usually burnt to a crisp. It comes from this machine, which is simply activated by pressing a button. Mishaps occur when too much tubby toast is made or not enough. The Teletubbies love this stuff though, and I like watching them eat it. Now, I've only seen the Teletubbies ever eat these two things. However, a wrench was thrown in the situation when I was browsing the old Teletubbies website. There was a recipe section where I noticed something weird on both the recipes. First, this tubby pizza recipe notes that a nutritious blend of natural ingredients keeps the Tubbies healthy and full of life. Does that mean that the Teletubbies have eaten a tubby pizza? If they have had a tubby pizza, where did it come from? Even more questions popped up when I saw this recipe for cherry chocos. This says, occasionally, Tinky Winky decides to treat the other Teletubbies and so cooks desserts. One of his favorites is cherry chocos, cookies with cherry and chocolate on top. How? Where? Why? I have never seen evidence of any other appliances in the Tubby house other than the Tubby custard and Tubby toast machine. I think I'll have to put this out of my mind despite it being on the official website. Anyway, back to the environment. A couple things that I still want to mention. First, it does snow and rain in Teletubby Land. Usually, a big funny cloud comes down from the sky to create the weather. There was a stretch of episodes actually where it was snowy the whole time, and I think it looks really great. Also, I need to mention the windmill. The windmill is what turns on the Teletubbies televisions and sometimes sets off magical events. The Teletubbies are extremely obedient to the windmill. Sometimes the windmill will spin just to end a scene. With that, let's talk about the episodes. The episodes start with the Sun Baby. The Sun Baby arrives from behind the landscape of Teletubby Land. The next shot moves in on the Tubbytronic Superdome, where it zooms in on the top of the house. One at a time, the Teletubbies will pop out the hole and count themselves. Each episode, a different Teletubby will pop out last. After all the Teletubbies assemble, the nice balloon logo comes up and pops. A bunch of voice trumpets pop up and let the viewers know that it's time for Teletubbies. We'll see these voice trumpets pop up a lot throughout the show. The theme song starts, and with no doubt you've heard this before. It's called Teletubbies Say Eh-oh, and it went double platinum in the UK, selling over 1 million copies. Eh-oh is how the Teletubbies say hello. It's one of their most common words, alongside boo. The theme song introduces the viewers to the Teletubbies as they dance and run around. They hug before the magic windmill spins. The Teletubbies say uh-oh, and they zoom off to start the show. A voice trumpet comes up and asks, "Where have the Teletubbies gone?" The Sun Baby smiles and the show begins. This intro stays for the whole series. In the beginning of most Teletubby episodes, we usually see one or more Teletubbies doing something. I call this part of the show the pre-Tummy Vision event. Based on the episodes that I've watched, this part of the show is usually a bit of a shorter segment. It might have the Teletubbies just popping in to say hello or boo. Other times, the Teletubbies will do a fun dance. Occasionally, this part of the show will allude to the events that'll happen later in the show. If other segments of the show are a little bit longer, this part might be skipped. If there's time for a long opener, this segment can get a little more interesting. One of my favorites is from episode 67, Ice Skating. All of the Teletubbies are making tubby custard, but they're too dang excited. They keep jumping up and down with the custard, spilling it and making a mess. The narrator warns Tinky Winky not to tread in the tubby custard, but he slips in it so hard that he flings across the room and slides up the slide. An especially weird one for me is episode 70, Hickory Dickory Dock. In the beginning of this one, a bunch of voice trumpets just come out of the ground. The Teletubbies just come out and giggle and nothing happens. It's very weird. A pretty common feature of this show is for something to just appear in Teletubby Land. It seems like these items tend to show up in the second half of the episode, but not always. For example, in episode 10, Making Flowers, a watering can appears in the beginning and Lala uses it to water the flowers. Sometimes the beginning of the show will have a voice trumpet appear and make noise or introduce a nursery rhyme. Episode 54 has a voice trumpet pop up just to quack at Lala. 2 episodes later, the show opens with a voice trumpet singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star for Poe. A star just straight up shows up in their house in this episode, by the way. After the opening segment of the show, there'll be a TV event. The TV event, or what I have been calling Tummy Vision, is an iconic feature of the Teletubbies series. Essentially, whatever the Teletubbies were doing before gets interrupted by the magic spinning windmill. When it starts spinning, the Teletubbies drop everything, say uh-oh, and run outside. They fall to the ground and their TVs get activated one at a time. Eventually, one Teletubby is chosen to play a video. This sequence is reused in every episode, and the Teletubby who plays the video is different for each one. The video that plays is a look into what kids in the real world are doing. Each one of them starts with the kids in the video saying hello over and over again. After the Teletubbies say uh-oh to them, the viewers get a look in on whatever interesting thing the kids are doing. These videos really vary in subject matter. They might show kids working on a farm, riding a bike, catching worms, or having celebrations. There are a few recurring guests as well, such as King Pleasure and the Biscuit Boys. My favorite guest is Andy Brown, who teaches the kids about animals. One recurring guest that I kept finding odd was the Funny Lady. Funny Lady is played by Tasman Griffin, and she showed up in 15 episodes. Her bits usually followed the same pattern. She would invite children to sit on a big couch and announce that she's going to become Funny Lady. After transforming into Funny Lady, she would do a skit. These skits most often were called Naughty something, like Naughty Sock, Naughty Horse, and Naughty Sausage. She would do this every time.
Naughty, 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 naughty woolly sock.
She does wrap it up by giving kids invisible biscuits, which is pretty cute. These TV events are different for each episode. Most often, unless the video is really, really long, the Teletubbies would want to see it again. In general, the same exact video would play twice. I hadn't seen Teletubbies in a really long time, so I didn't realize it did that in the TV episodes. It confused me why the TV producer would put the same exact clip in, because sometimes they were quite long. There's actually a really good reason for it. Andy Davenport, the show's producer, says children like the security of repetition. There's a lot to understand for a child so young, so playing it back gives them more of a chance to watch and process. It allows the child to predict what's going to happen, which gives them a sense of confidence and a chance to practice deduction. This empowers a young child and helps them make sense of the world. Plus, I just kind of understand this. Like, haven't you watched your favorite show like 3 times, 5 times, 10 times? It's comfortable, it's nice, it's fun. Anyway, after the TV event, the baby son lets us know that the video is over. It is now time to move into the main event, or at least that's what I've been calling it. The main event is generally a chunkier segment of the episode, and there's more time to get into whatever the Teletubbies are doing. This could involve some or all of the Teletubbies. It's really a wild card what happens here, but if there's a beefier event that's happening, it's probably in this segment. Here's the segment from episode 38, My Mum's a Doctor. Po wakes up from a nap and is hungry. She goes buck wild on the tubby custard, eating several bowls before getting tubby custard tummy. That's when Teletubbies eat too much tubby custard too fast. Here's a beautiful one from the very next episode, Tweet Tweet. In this one, the Teletubbies and Nunu get to see a butterfly. I love the way the butterfly is edited in. I think it's so pretty and peaceful. In episode 66, the main event is incredible. Remember how earlier I mentioned about Poe's magical powers? Here is one of the reasons why I think that. This episode is called Dandelion Clocks. The narrator lets the viewers know that Poe is having a blowy day. Here's where it's revealed that Poe has incredible breath powers. She blows the blanket off the other Teletubbies. She makes adjustments to the house with only her breath. She even blows her friends up the slide. We saw earlier that the Teletubbies can just slide up if they want, I guess, but she blows them up there. This was a shock for me to see after episode 62, Butterfly, where the Teletubbies fly kites and Poe flies up in the air. Poe is magical, and I love her. In episode 3, a drum appears during the main event. This scene is incredible. The magic drum can make things appear and disappear and can move the Teletubbies around. Check out this scene of Tinky Winky popping up all over the landscape. In some episodes, this chunk of time might be saved for a special dance. There are 21 different dances that the Teletubbies might do, some much more likely than others. There are some that are quite rare, some of them you'll see a lot. For example, there's the stamping and stepping dance, the splashing dance, here's the tiptoe dance. There are so many others. These Teletubbies just love to dance. Some of my most favorite moments of this show is just absorbing the beauty of the shots here. The landscape and the Teletubbies moving over it is just very pleasing to the eye. The creators of the Teletubbies use the landscape a lot. The simplicity of the landscape and the plethora of little hills make it really easy for the Teletubbies to be spotted in different locations. They might just walk toward and walk away from the camera. They might go left or right or hide behind hills. This is designed to teach children spatial awareness, and it's also just kind of beautiful to look at. I love seeing the Teletubbies walking around in front of a fixed camera and just kind of chilling in the landscape. This is an extremely common theme for the show, and you'll find that spatial awareness is trained quite a lot. I also want to note here that the pacing of this show is quite slow. There's usually a lot of long pauses and long sequences to give children plenty of time to process what's going on. Things get repeated quite often. It's intentional, and it allows for children to really experience each moment of the show with all of their senses. I think it really adds to the beauty as well. Although I love the slow pace and the beautiful focus on the landscape, I am a bit disappointed when the main event of the show is just the Teletubbies walking back and forth over the hills. Sometimes there's no main event at all. After the main event of the show, there'll sometimes be a magical event. Magical events are not guaranteed in all of the Teletubbies episodes. While I was watching through, there were quite a lot of episodes that didn't have one. This is unfortunate because it's one of my favorite parts of the show. When it's time for a magic event, the Teletubbies are just kind of summoned by the windmill again, but instead of their TVs going off, they'll just kind of stand or sit around. There are 7 possible magical events. First, we have Animal Parade. This is gorgeous. These 3D animals walk around Tubbyland in pairs. I think this is fantastic. The tigers are my favorite, but there are a lot of good animals here. Next is the Magic House. This one shows a big pink house with 4 windows. A funny little man sings a little gibberish song in one of the windows of the house. It could be a different window each time this is shown that he sings from. The tap dancing teddy bear event is one of my favorites. A little carousel comes down from the sky, opening to reveal a 3D animated teddy bear. He does a funny little tap dance for the Teletubbies. On very, very rare occasions, this magical event may play twice. The Magic Tree is the next event. A tree grows in Teletubby Land. It grows leaves, birds land on it, and everything disappears. I was captivated by the peacefulness of this one. In the 3 Ships event, Teletubby Land gets flooded. An ocean appears in front of the Tubbies, and 3 cruise liner ships roll in. This one was so surprising when I saw it again. I really want to use it as a screensaver. The Lion and the Bear event is the one that probably most people have heard of due to its controversy. Some call this magic event the banned Teletubbies episode, even though it's a segment featured in many episodes, not its own episodes. Anyway, it's got 2 giant wooden characters rolling around on skateboards yelling at each other. They have kind of frightening voices, and the music is unsettling. Due to uproar from parents, this scene was edited to have new music, voices, and sound effects. For some, it was still too scary. Some countries don't air either version of the event. The last magical event is Little Bo Peep. This sketch is the most rarely seen, not appearing until the 245th episode. This has clouds from the sky turning into sheep, and a puppet Little Bo Peep searches for them. This is so cute. After the magic event is done, most of the time the show is over. A voice trumpet pops up and lets us know that it's time for Tubby Bye-Bye. This section of the show gives kids lots of time to understand that the show is coming to an end. After the voice trumpet pops up, the Teletubbies appear from behind some hills. They grumble because the show is coming to an end. Then the narrator says goodbye to each Teletubby as they disappear behind the hills. They giggle, and one will pop up to say boo, leading the rest to join them. The Teletubby who pops up first is different in each episode. The Teletubbies giggle, and the narrator gives them a stern no. The whole routine of disappearing and popping up again demonstrates object permanence to kids that small. Another baby sun shot, and then the narrator says goodbye to each Teletubby again. The baby sun starts to set. Each Teletubby hops into the hole in their house, starting with the one who said boo first. Finally, one more bye-bye before the sun finally sets. Once the episode ends, you might watch another one to find that you've already seen some of the scenes. This show commonly reused dances, magic events, opening sequences, main events, whatever could be reused. For instance, the opening scene from Our Pig Winnie would be reused in 2 other episodes, Arthur Robot Story and Feeding the Monkeys. This is probably fine for a kid watching 1 or 2 Teletubbies episodes a day, but for me, rewatching through these episodes did get pretty tedious. I watched a lot of them. It was like giving up type tedious, which is why I didn't watch all of them, but I watched a lot of them. Trust me, I watched a lot. Many of the scenes from the show would go on to be reused used in VHS releases. There were over 20 of these things, and a majority of them would all be composed of pre-existing scenes from the show. They were like compilation tapes. There were Teletubbies compilation videos before YouTube. Only the special Ready, Steady, Go was unique, being composed of all new scenes. Certain scenes would be reworked into children's books, of which there are many, and video games. So, I watched a bunch of episodes of Teletubbies. I didn't watch every single one, so my notes are incomplete, but I can give you the general rundown. Some of the stats I got help with from this Teletubbies wiki page. This was incredible. The people here are dedicated, and it helped a lot for this video, so I appreciate them so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In a sample of 252 episodes, Poe was the last one to pop out of the hole in the beginning of the episode 58 times. This was the least frequent of all the other Teletubbies. Tinky Winky and Dipsy are all even, and Lala was last 65 times. Also, in 252 episodes, Poe was chosen most frequently to play the TV event on her stomach. She was chosen 67 times, Tinky Winky was chosen 63 times, Lala at 62, and Dipsy at 59. In 252 episodes, Poe and Tinky Winky are tied to be the one who popped out to say boo at the end of the episode most frequently. They both pop out 66 times, while Lala does 60 times and Dipsy 59. The differences is not that much. They are all pretty even. I'm sure if I had a sample size of more episodes, it would show that it's pretty much all the same. It's random. Now, here's some special stats. So in a sample of the first 102 episodes, Tinky Winky is shown with his handbag 34 times. This is about a third of all the episodes. Dipsy's hat appears 28 times, just over a fourth of the episodes. Lala's ball appears 29 times, just about in line with Dipsy's hat. Poe's scooter, on the other hand, appears 44 times, about 40% of the episodes. The last stat that I have to note is called Dipsy's dancing goes unnecessarily hard. Dipsy dances pretty hard in the opening, so I'm not counting that one. It also can't be a normal dance, it has to be something like this. I felt that Dipsy's dancing went unnecessarily hard in about 19% of the episodes. Anyway, should I finish this spreadsheet? Should I keep working on it? But let me know, I might do a follow-up if you are really interested in stats like this. I really like categorizing things. Kids loved the Teletubbies. This show released in March 1997 and was getting 2 million viewers per episode by August. This meant that there was lots of money to be made, and very quickly. By Christmas 1997, Teletubbies toys were the top-selling toy. Since then, there have been hundreds of different Teletubbies toys and merchandise. Costumes, soft toys, puzzles, play mats, figures, stickers, whatever this is, you name it. Merchandising Teletubbies over the years was massively profitable, like $800 million in sales profitable. The Teletubbies were so profitable, bootleg toys would make it on the market. The show's creators would end up suing Walmart for selling a particularly strange one called Bubbly Chubbies. I like these guys though, they're kind of cute. Beyond toys, fast food companies wanted in on the action. In May 1999, Burger King released a kids club meal where you could get one of 6 Teletubbies soft keychain toys and a Friendship Tubby Toast. The keychains were finger puppets that you stuck your fingers in to make the Teletubby walk around. You could get all the Teletubbies, a rabbit, and a Nunu with your meal. The meal was only $1.99, by the way. It's crazy. Burger King didn't stop at the toys though. You could finally try Tubby Custard. In April 2000, McDonald's released their own Happy Meal toys, but no custard for them. These are keychains with hugging arms. Just the 4 Tubbies. I also just need to show you the Teletubbies carousel that was used at Chuck E. Cheese. Among the endless sea of Teletubbies merchandise was a few video games. The first one came out in December 1998 and it's called Play with the Teletubbies. It was released for PlayStation and PC. I played this one and I would like to show you. The game opens to the theme song and 4 3D Teletubbies in a sprawling landscape world. They greet the viewer and eventually walk off the screen. A voice trumpet pops up and completes the opening by asking where the Teletubbies have gone. Next, we get a shot of the Tubby Dome. I think the Teletubby you end up playing as is randomly chosen in the PC version because I had no choice of who I wanted to be. If I did, I would be Dipsy, but I started out as Tinky Winky. There are absolutely no instructions on what to do. The Teletubby character you're playing as will follow your mouse, which makes moving extremely vague. They often take a minute to catch up to your mouse. Some objects you just hover your mouse over for a little sound effect, but there are a few things in the world that you can interact with. The first thing I tried was the Tubby Custard machine. This plays an incredibly long segment where your Teletubby forgets how to make Tubby Custard. They never press the button for a bowl, so the Tubby Custard gets everywhere. Another Teletubby will come up and cheer on your mess making. Nunu then comes to clean up the Tubby Custard. Once it's done, you think you're free. Well, I didn't know the controls of the game. At the end of whatever segment you're doing, your Teletubby will shout again, again. If you click your mouse at this point, the whole scene will play over again. You can't skip it. This led me to watch this Tubby Custard scene for like 10 minutes straight. I was so confused at what I was doing wrong. I ended up closing the game and looking it up so I wouldn't have to watch the Tubby Custard scene again. When I rebooted the game, I was Po this time. First thing I did with Po was go outside. The narrator chimes in to say that Po is going for a walk. I walked out to the field to find the windmill. If you click the windmill, you get a 3D version of the event that happens before the TV event. Then a TV event will play. The version I downloaded of this must not have had the files for the TV event because I wasn't able to watch them. There's 11 TV events that could play. They're just select TV events from segments of the show. After checking out the windmill, Po and I wandered to a tree. When you click the tree, it starts a hiding game. A Teletubby will hide behind a tree and you just go up to find him. I don't know why I had such a hard time with this. I think I had to let Po walk up there before clicking him. Eventually, the hiding game ended and Po and Tinky Winky hugged. Next, Po and I went to a little tuft of blue grass. After clicking that, an object appears. It can be one of 11 objects, including a duck, pig, and watering can. In my case, I got a guitar. All you have to do is walk up to the guitar a bunch of times as it moves around, and you'll be rewarded with a nursery rhyme at the end. Each object has its own associated nursery rhyme. I felt like it took way too long to walk up to this guitar over and over. After I finished with the guitar, Po and I found a green plant that triggers the magic drum event. This is a lot like the episode, just slower. You bang the drum to make flowers, clouds, rabbits, and other Teletubbies appear. You have to walk up to the drum and hit it so many times to make it through the scene. After the drum, Po ran into Lala. I had no idea this made me change places with Lala. Suddenly, I was in control of Lala and there was no indication we swapped places until I realized Lala was walking around the screen all crazy because of my mouse. Once I got Lala under control, we found her ball. This object is different depending on which Teletubby you're playing as. It'll be the favorite object of the Teletubby you're controlling. Lala and I bounced her ball. That's it, much quicker than the rest of the events. Lala and I then went back into the house. I wanted to see if there was anything else to do in there. I clicked on a Tubby Toast and Nunu cleaned it up. This triggered a scene where Lala starts chasing Nunu and eventually all the Teletubbies join her in a line. Finally, Lala makes some Tubby Toast. She tediously makes a bunch and then Nunu eats it all. I like being in this world, but I wish there was more to do. That's really it for Play with the Teletubbies. The next video game that came out was Teletubbies 2 Favorite Games. It came out in 1999. This one is considerably more in-depth than the first one. I wasn't able to play this game myself, so this is just what I have gathered. The game in general seems a lot more interactive and less focused on just watching a scene. It looks like you can do a lot of activities. You could make Tubby Custard, roll down a hill with a Tubby of your choice, do 6 different exercises, play a hiding game with curtains, and play mini games based on TV events. 1 year makes a big difference in Teletubbies gameplay. Teletubbies had 2 educational console games as well. One came out much later in 2007 for the V-Smile TV learning system. It was called Time for Teletubbies. These were little matching or color games with a section for baby sign language. The art style of the Teletubbies in this is super cute. cute. I love how this looks. The far more rare Teletubbies game is Come to Play from Bubble Interactive. This was an interactive TV game for an educational console called Bubble. Have you ever heard of Bubble? I have never heard of Bubble. When I looked it up, it was not easy to find information on this console. That didn't mean there was no information though, so I started searching. This is an interactive educational console that uses an infrared connection to a DVD player. It's got a bunch of flashing buttons and a place to put an interactive activity book. The console released in 2005 and was created by a company called Bright Things. This was their website at the time. The console was distributed by Bandai until 2006, where it was pulled due to low sales. Bright Things lost over £5 million in the deal. If you'd like to know more information about the Bubble, check out this video by Rare Tendo. The description has a lot of details about the Bubble. This was a side note, but it was so fascinating. I just had to break down Bubble a little bit. Back to the Teletubbies. They got their own game on the Bubble. Thank goodness for this one Teletubbies wiki again for the amazing information on this game. This is a DVD game where you can rewatch segments of the show with interactive elements included. For example, there's a clip from Colors Orange that is reworked to have things in Teletubby Land lose their color one by one. The player has to press buttons on the console to bring the color back. The last official Teletubbies game that I could track down was Teletubbies My First App. This is an iOS mobile game that came out in 2010. It's got a few mini games and the show's intro and outro. It reminds me a lot visually of the Favorite Games game. I think I still like the graphics of the original PC game the best. I think that it was so like vacant. I loved it. It was so cool. Now we're gonna play on the computer. We're gonna get into some Teletubbies websites. The original website for Teletubbies, as far as I can tell, is teletubbies.com. The earliest capture I could find of it was December 12th, 1998. It's just a bright green landing page with a strange Teletubbies logo. All you can do here is put your email in so you know when the site reopens. I'm pretty sure this website opened in 1996. I saw that somewhere, but I'm not positive, so just trust me. October 23rd, 1999, the website looks a bit different. Oh, this looks a little bit different. November 15th, 1999, we have a website baby. Whoa. Want your name at teletubbies.com as your email address? Free? This is an archive of Amazon. Wow. This is from February 2000. Look at this. Oh, is it just this one page? Oh, I see. The links are here. They're broken. All right, let's click something else in the meantime. Games. Oh, we got a couple games here. I found games. Tubby Fireworks. Let's check this out. It doesn't work. Combine animated musical parts to make some tubberific candy. See how Oompa Loompa reacts to your creation. I don't feel comfortable downloading this stuff. All this, I think, is broken. Except for the golden nugget. This is just some educational information about, baby stuff. Did you know that babies up to approximately 1 year old are unable to distinguish any colors other than black, white, and red? What? Really? Is that true? First primary color your baby can see is red, and it happens a few weeks into life. Babies don't only see in black and white as newborns. So they can see colors, but they're not as clear or vivid. Okay. Anyway, well, that's not true. Teletubbies website. Maybe go back to 2000 and fix this, huh? Anyway, let's check out the recipes. Oh my goodness. Wow. Let's make scrummy tubby food. Wow. A nutritious blend of natural ingredients keeps the Tubbies healthy and full of life. So this website is kind of implying that the Teletubbies will eat other food, but they prefer Tubby toast and Tubby custard. Do they make a call to get pizza? What is Yum Yums? What's Yum Yums? Handful of almonds. This does sound Yummy Yums. Tinky Winky cooks desserts? When? Where? Ugh, I'm annoyed that I have to look at all these now. I'm basically just seeing if there's Tubby lore. This is undoubtedly the Teletubbies' favorite food. Okay, what is this graphic? It's Lala standing on one leg, I think. Hold on, let's get closer. Enhance. That's Lala. All right, so breakfast pizza, the tubby pizza, and the cherry chocos. Look how beautiful this is, though. Someone took the time to change up the colors. Okay, so these are the ones that have some tubby lore. So, all right, let's check out freebies. Teletubby screensaver, Nunu screensaver, drawing program. No, broken. What's next? Cool. Cinderella. Toys Talk. Boys Who Talks Toys. Let's check out Talks Toys. Marcus was very small and really quiet. The other boy, Jacob, was tall and very wild. One day, the quiet boy Marcus went out to get some toys. Instead, he found a very magical woman. He met up with the same magical women that Marcus found, but he didn't find the toy store. When all of a sudden, piles and piles of toys came out of Jacob's mouth every time he said something. The two boys decided to have Jacob keep talking so they could have all the toys they wanted. So they go out, they meet a magical woman. They find a toy store. Jacob starts puking up toys. They get all the toys they want. They sell the toys. And they were very rich, so they got a new house and lived happily ever after. What a beautiful fantasy. Whoa. Okay, so you can share this with 5 friends. What the heck is going on up here? I think I went forward a little bit more. And what kind of Poe is this? Competition. It doesn't say what competition it is. Oh, each month we give away a set of talking Teletubbies. Oh my god, is this... Alright, we're doing a quiz now, guys. Gosh dang darn it. Next. Going ahead to October, November 2000, the website gets a makeover. I feel like this version of the site might be broken because what's going on here? I'll let it load a little bit. We'll see. There's no way. This is incredible. Okay, let's check out the games in 2000. All right, here's the game site. All the pictures are broken except for color and there's this nice ad for I Am Big Brother, internet safety software. If you're a webmaster, you can have all the Teletubbies games free on your site. All right, so Tubby Firework does not work. Throw the ball. Throw the ball is gonna work. Click Lala to throw the ball. So click on Lala, and then click on Poe, and click on Lala. Love this game. Color game. See the blobbies move. Okay. Red. Orange. Wait, this one's kind of memorizing. Green. That ain't a blobby, that's a circle. Blue. Beautiful. Purple. What do you guys think? Is this purple? Is this purple to you? This is reading pink or fuchsia. All right, the Great Tubby Race. This is supposed to be a tubby. In this race, there'll be 5 racers. I'm gonna pick 3. Come on. Tubby 2-1. Dang. Here is the frogs are having fun. Click on them. Okay, so this is the Teletubbies.com store from November 2000. So we got stuff from Teletubbies, Bag Puss, Chicken Run, Pokemon, Thomas the Tank Engine, and then just all brands. I just kind of want to see everything. Unfortunately, I think they might be broken. Man, they don't have it archived. What is Bag Puss, though? Let's see if there's anything new on the chat. Whoa. What is that? Yeah, it doesn't work. Okay. There is a new set of e-cards on the November 2000 site. Be My Friend, Best Friends, Spooky Halloween. Beautiful. All right, the homepage looks like this. December 3rd, 2000. The only differences I notice here is Nunu for recipes and health. Well, let's check it out a little bit. So the site isn't any different. Nothing to note there. So we're gonna keep going forward. In 2001, the homepage changed to just have less stuff on it, which is kind of sad because we lost those cute Teletubby graphics. I'll check around to see if this is any different. They added a breakout clone that doesn't work. On the freebies page, they took away the Nunu screensaver and added free software to protect your computer from your children and a bunch of activities that you can do. I clicked it, and if you hover over, you can see there's like different recipes for like decorative toast, Play-Doh, paper mache. So moving forward into 2000, I got redirected to this webmail login. The Teletubbies.com email service will be closing down at the end of March 2001, and it redirects to go to this separate website for the games and activities. Oh, so this is all the same stuff, just redecorated to not be Teletubbies themed. Look at this health guy. What is going on? Yeah, this website is just all recycled stuff from the old Teletubbies website. Okay, so this announcement basically that the website's shutting down links to the BBC Teletubbies site. So this is what it looked like in 2004. This is the goodies section. Desktop pictures, postcards, screensaver, and sounds. So these are the desktop pictures. Oh my goodness. There are so many. On to print and play. You can match Teletubby shapes, print Teletubby masks, Teletubby puppets, and the Teletubby mobile. Are the masks broken? Yeah, it's broken. Okay, there's a clown. There's a clown. All right, let's go forward. Y'all, who's ready to ride a cock horse? Beautiful. This is forward a little bit. Let's go forward even more to just see if it gets different. Nope, it's the same. Okay, so let's go back. All right, going back to Teletubbies.com, I went forward to November 2001, and it shows 3 different websites, the BBC one, which we're already on, a Ragdoll one, and the PBS website also. There is a lot of Teletubbies on the internet. This, thankfully, is just a description of Teletubbies. And here is the PBS site for Teletubbies. Let's play inside. That's pretty cool. Oh, I clicked on the beds. Oh my gosh. Whoa. I can make the Teletubbies go to sleep. In 2004, the PBS site changes to this. Some things to interact with. I want to click on this tiger like right away. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, so this is the non-flash version. Look at this tiger, dog. The last available capture of this PBS site is January 20th, 2013. The one right after that redirects to the retired website. All right, back to Teletubbies.com. In 2007, this finally becomes a shop. You can't really see anything, but there's some little things here. This is October 2009. It changes from that crunchy online shop to this online shop. Oh my god, the abacus got recalled. In 2012, we catch up with the co.uk website. This is like exactly the same. It's actually in 2010 that Teletubbies.com looks like this, and it stays like that for a while. So this is the site we got now. The website now is boring. There's some events, a shop, a place to meet the Teletubbies, and find out where Teletubbies is streaming. I miss you, crunchy site. So, that's the original Teletubbies. There is so much information out there that I feel like I barely scratched the surface. Truthfully, you don't need to dig that deep to understand why Teletubbies are so well loved. There's of course the nostalgia factor. I definitely felt it, especially playing with the websites. Something about old websites is just so wonderful to look at. The show itself was a delight to experience as well. This show just looks pretty. It's silly and fun, and the energy is very positive. The Teletubbies don't get mad at Poe when she spills all the custard and gets custard feet. They just laugh and love her. My favorite moments watching this show was just seeing the Teletubbies hanging out on the lawn or walking toward the camera. It's just beautiful and I love it. Teletubbies still posts on their YouTube channel if you ever want to check it out. There's tons of places you can find classic Teletubbies, so check those out if you're interested. Before we part today, I have a question for you. Imagine if you were a Teletubby Teletubby, what color would you be? What would your area look like? And what would your favorite item be? Bonus if you have a name or a song. Personally, I would be a light pink with a heart-shaped Ariel, and my favorite item would be a plushie. I don't know about a name, but I'll figure it out. Anyway, thank you for watching, everybody. Time for Tubby bye-bye. Boo!